Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the August Nutrition Support Monthly Call. My name is Misty Woods, and I will be leading today's monthly call. First, let's talk about some previous information and reminders we went over on June's monthly call and the state update, but it's important, so we wanted to mention it again this month. So first, let's talk about Memo SFS 23-113 is the reminder for the National School Lunch Program. The Sodium Target 1A transitional standard became effective on July 1st, 2023. And this memo basically is for state agencies and for school meal program operators to remind them that the Sodium Target 1A, as part of the transitional standards for milk, whole grains, and sodium final rule, went into effect on July 1st, 2023, in the National School Lunch Program only. There will be no change to sodium limits for breakfast served through the school breakfast program this school year. There are several resources to aid school meal program operators in Sodium Target 1A implementation. Schools can access lower sodium standardized recipes that meet school meal pattern requirements through the Institute of Child Nutrition's Recipe Box and Team Nutrition Recipes for Healthy Kids Cookbook for Schools. The Institute of Child Nutrition also offers sodium reduction resources and online courses through the ICN's Shaking It Up initiative, which features strategies and best practices for reducing sodium in school meal. So now it's your time to look at your menus and make sure that you're within those sodium target ranges. Memo SFS 23-114, the revised prototype application for free and reduced price school meals. This memo provided information on the revised prototype application for free and reduced price school meals. USDA updated the prototype application to improve the user experience for applicants by adjusting the reading level, streamlining the application instructions, and by adding clarity to the mailing instructions to reduce the number of applications sent to the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights. This is a save the date reminder for Louisiana Lunch Week. Louisiana Festival of Flavors is going to be March 11th through the 15th, 2024. So show off your Louisiana food products and use the newly developed Festival of Flavor recipes. So let's talk about Turn Up the Beat. You can nominate your Louisiana Summer Meal Program for Turn Up the Beat Award. The deadline is August 31st, 2023. And here's the instructions on how to nominate for the Turn Up the Beat for summer meals. Sponsors may submit a self-nomination or be nominated by another party. Visit the Louisiana Fit Kids website for the application. The sponsor or other party must fill out the 2023 Turn Up the Beat nomination form and submit a 1-month menu by August 31st to Louisiana Fit Kids at pbrc.edu and include Turn Up the Beat 2023 nomination in the subject line. So FNS wants to highlight the great work being done in the state. So they're requesting any information you have on event or meetings occurring through the end of October for Healthy Meals Initiative, National School Lunch Week, and Farm to School. The event or meeting can be of any size. They don't have to be a big event. But please send this information to Child Nutrition Programs at la.gov. And here's an example of how the information can be submitted. So they're basically looking for the name of the event, the location, date and time, and any other information that you may have that you want to submit. So let's talk about the 2022 equipment grant. This is a reminder that the 2022 equipment grant request for reimbursement is due by September 14th, 2023. Award funds will be subject to forfeiture after this deadline and will be granted to the next highest scoring SFA. Requirements for reimbursement include you're going to email or a scan or PDF of the actual invoice or purchase order for the piece of equipment awarded by site to me, misty.woods@la.gov. The invoice or PO must include the vendor name, the address, phone number, the invoice or PO number, the name and description of the equipment, and the equipment cost. You must also complete the online request for reimbursement for each site awarded. By doing that, you need to log into the CMP website and go to the Equipment Grant 2022 application, click on the awarded site application, then click on Request Funding at the top of the application. You need to input the dollar amount for the piece of equipment based on the purchase order or invoice. So you're going to put the amount that's actually on the invoice or purchase order, and then click the Request button to submit. As a reminder, the reimbursement process will not start until both the invoice and the online request for reimbursement is received for all awarded sites in the SFA. We've had a few people that have just sent in the request for reimbursement but did not send the invoice. So please make sure you send both in order for me to start processing it for reimbursement. So this is what everybody's been asking about. The CMP website is now open for all SFA sponsors to complete the 2023-2024 application. A memo should be posted sometime today. The due date for submission is August 30th, 2023. The 23-24 application is going to include two parts: the National School Lunch and School Breakfast online application and the Seamless Summer Waiver form. The National School Lunch and Breakfast Program form consists of requirements, policy checklists, Schedule A, collection procedures, collection officials, and income and expenses. Updates have been made to the online application to increase usability. Please refer to the CMP website user manual for guidance. It's posted on the CMP website. It's also linked on this slide. We are in the process of updating it, but the current one that's on the website does cover just about everything that you need to go through the application. Online application changes include changes to the Schedule A with the documents and certifications. So under the documents and certification, SFAs will only be required to put in the SAM unique entity ID and upload the active SAM registration information. The other documents, such as the unpaid meal charge policy, code of conduct, procurement procedures, wellness policy, and HACCP plan, will not require an upload. Instead, the SFAs will have the option to select yes or no to having the documents on file. And here is a screenshot of what it will look like. So you will select yes or no, and although you will not have to upload the documents, by selecting yes, you are affirming that you have these documents and that these documents are correct and up to date. So please remember to have these because you need to provide the documents to the reviewers. Another change to the 23-24 online application is the labor expenses report has been discontinued. Systems will not be able to access the PEP Ed link. Therefore, all labor and administrative costs will be put on the income and expense report. A statement will be added to the income and expense certifying that the information submitted in the income and expense form, including the labor and benefits, is correct and submitted. Note, dioceses will be contacted separately for reporting the non-public lunch salary supplement program. And here's a screenshot of where you would enter in all the labor and administrative costs on the income and expense report. It'll be in the section B. Let's talk about the state attendance factor. Attendance factors must be determined prior to the beginning of each school year. The attendance factor is the number found by dividing the total average daily attendance by the total enrollment. A memo with the state attendance factor should be posted sometime today. School food authorities may use the annually determined state attendance factor or may calculate a custom attendance factor. If an SFA wishes to utilize a custom attendance factor, the attendance factor form must be completed. The 2023-2024 school year state attendance factor is 95.48%. Unless a custom attendance factor is requested by SFA, the default will be the state's currently approved attendance factor, with the exceptions of RCCIs, which will have an attendance factor set at 100%. So you will be able to find the state attendance factor on this slide. You'll be able to find it on the memo that comes out, and it is also going to be on your application underneath your school sites where you have your where your schools are listed. It should be on that screen as well. The 2024 administrative reviews. A total of 36 administrative reviews will be conducted in the 23-24 school year. It will include the New Orleans area, plus the sponsors with serious operational problems on their last review. It will be year 5 of the 5-year cycle. The state agency will have to submit a waiver to start another 5-year cycle, but without approval, we will be on a 3-year cycle. Until we receive approval, we will not have a firm schedule of who will be reviewed in year 1, school year 2025. If you need technical assistance, please request it. State agencies receive notice of a 4th allocation of supply chain assistance funds in the amount of $20,975,904. State agencies will distribute this 4th round of SCA funding to eligible SFAs the same way, using the same formula to distribute the first 3 rounds of funds. There is a deadline date for the state agencies to disperse funds by September 30th, 2023. However, there is not a deadline for SFAs to expend the funds on a local level. It is encouraged that SFAs expend funds timely, since there is additional tracking associated with the SCA funds, but it is okay if it takes you until next school year to expend all of those funds. We've also received the local PEBT administrative cost grant, FNS 529 for fiscal year 2023, executed in the amount of $423,526. So let's talk about a 4-day school week. If your district has switched to the 4-day school week, you must use the 4-day week meal pattern for the weekly totals required for menus. It can be found on the USDA website, and a link is also provided on this slide. Consider if your schools qualify for an extended school day for our school day snacks. We will talk about the expanded learning time and after-school snacks in the next couple of slides. Also consider implementing at-risk supper, snack and supper feeding to increase revenue. Consider increasing breakfast participation by implementing breakfast after the bell, second chance breakfast, or grab and go in hallways. Also consider and try to increase your extra sales. There are districts currently operating 4-day school weeks, and many of those would be happy to share their best practices with you. So just reach out to those other districts. So after school meal snack service in schools operating expanded learning time. We have several districts switching to that 4-day school week, which has led to questions about after school meals or snacks if operating expanding learning time. A memo with guidance for the after school meal snack in schools operating expanding learning time should be posted today. In order to qualify for the expanded learning time exception, during the 23-24 school year, a school district must operate a minimum of 7 hours on a normal school day for the school year. Eligibility determinations for these programs must be based on whether such programs or after-school care programs with an educational or enrichment purposes in accordance with the regulations set forth by USDA in 7 CFR 210 and 7 CFR Part 226. If you are operating an expanded learning time and wish to provide after-school snacks or meals under these exceptions or have questions, please contact Chandra Scott for National School Lunch Program snacks or Karen Scheck-Snyder for CACFP meals and snacks. The state has determined that the average length of an instructional day is approximately 6 hours. If a school or school district wishes to use the state average length of a school day when considering providing these after-school snacks or meals, it may utilize the 6 hours as a reference to determine if it qualifies as operating an expanded learning time during the 23-24 school year. If a school or district operates at a minimum of 7 hours in the normal school day for the 23-24 school year, it may qualify to serve snacks to children participating in expanded learning time, which is after the normal school day reference time. Please note that school sites should not schedule snack or meal service before the 6-hour average has been reached. Further, please note that LDOE requires a minimum of 1 hour to elapse between the start of one after-school meal service and the start of the next. Summer EBT is now permanently in regulations and will begin in summer 2024. Summer EBT is different from PEBT or pandemic EBT. It will be $40 a month for eligible students. And this is fairly new to us, so more information is to come. So let's talk about some in-person trainings that we have coming up. ICN training on financial management for directors will be held at Pennington Biomedical Research Center in person on Tuesday, October 10th. The Farm to School conference will be Wednesday, October 11th. A state update / training will be held on Thursday morning, October 12th. A survey was sent out on July 18th to assess the frequency and the topics you would like for in-person trainings to be held. And currently we are conducting back-to-school trainings for those districts that requested it. So now let's discuss the memos and resources that have been posted since the last monthly update. We will start with Memo SFS 23-123 and we'll continue through Memo SFS 23-136. So Memo SFS 23-123 is about May the 2023 SNAP and TANF loaded to eScholar Direct Match. LDOE ran the statewide SNAP and TANF matches for all school district, public and non-public, and districts to resolve any near matches below, which would be the SNAP batch number 5034 and TANF batch number 5033. And if you need assistance, please email Jane. The Memo SFS 23-124 is the ending of KKFA Flexibilities. On June 25th, 2022, President Biden signed the Keep Kids Fed Act, which extended USDA authority to waive certain requirements for child nutrition programs to address COVID-19. But the following child nutrition program flexibilities ended on June 30th of 2023. That temporary higher per meal reimbursement rates for National School Lunch, School Breakfast, and CACFP, the temporary higher Tier 1 reimbursement rates for Tier 2 family daycare homes in CACFP, the school year 22-23 meal service operational and administrative flexibilities offered through individual waivers, and the offsite monitoring waivers. So that all expired on June 30th, 2023. Memo SFS 23-125 was the reminder about the CEP elections that were due in the CMP website that were due June 30th. Failure to submit those resulted in the continuation of last year's elections and or no CEP participation. Those SFAs that did not submit elections by the due date were contacted and corrective action plans were emailed to complete and return. Memo SFS 23-126 was about the school year 23-24 application and SSO application for July. At the time of the memo, the application was on hold as the state agency was waiting for the reimbursement rates to be released. And you were asked that if you were intending to operate school lunch or SSO in July, you were asked to submit the information to the Child Nutrition Program's web email. But now the school year 23-24 is now open, so you can enter that information into the 23-24 application. Memo SFS 23-127 is the rural non-congregate examples for summer 2023. This was a document that provided examples of using the rural non-congregate meal service options for the summer food service program and the seamless summer option for summer 2023. One example was when there's no congregate meal services available in the rural area, and another example was when distributing multiple days worth of meals. The document is intended to provide tips and illustrate possible approaches for SFSP sponsors implementing non-congregate meal services for the summer 2023 and is not intended to address all possible circumstances. Memo SFS 23-128, the reimbursement rates for the 23-24 school year. This memo announces the annual adjustments to the national average payments, the amount of money the federal government provides states for lunches, after-school snacks, and breakfasts served to children participating in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs. The annual payments and rates adjustments for the National School Lunch and School Breakfast reflect changes in the Food Away from Home series of the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers. These rates are effective from July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Reflects the June 30th, 2023 expiration of the temporary reimbursement rates provided under the Keep Kids Fed Act of 2022, which included an additional 40 cents per lunch and 15 cents per school breakfast for meal reimbursements. The reimbursement rates reflect an adjustment to the base rate from the school year 22-23. So here are some snippets from the Federal Register of the reimbursement rates for the National School Lunch, School Breakfast, and after-school snacks for the 23-24 school year. For the National School Lunch Program, you will use the two columns in blue. It's either going to be less than 60% free and reduced plus the 8 cents, or the 60% or more free and reduced plus 8 cents. The plus 8 cents is for the menu certification, which includes everyone in Louisiana. Please note that Louisiana is not able to use or receive the maximum rate of reimbursement. We also verified this with USDA. For school breakfast program, you will either use non-severe need or severe need. At first glance, when you compare the 23-24 reimbursement rates to the 22-23 reimbursement rates, it appears less, which has generated some questions. As explained in the previous slide, these reimbursement rates reflect the June 30th, 2023 expiration of the temporary reimbursement rates provided under the Keep Kids Fed Act of 2022, which included an additional 40 cents for lunch and 15 cents for breakfast. In the next slide, you will see it explained again by USDA. This slide is from the USDA update that we received at the ANC conference, and it explains the 23-24 reimbursement rates. As stated previously, and as a reminder, Keep Kids Fed Act ended June 30th, which removed the extra 40 cents per lunch and 15 cents per breakfast. The 2023-2024 rates increase is equal to the amount of inflation, or approximately 8.3% over last year's base rate. Here is another slide from the USDA update at the ANC conference. It explains that with the additional Supply Chain Assistance Fund, plus the 8.3% increase in meal reimbursement rate equals an additional 10 cents per lunch and 3 cents per breakfast above the school year 22-23 reimbursement rates. Memo SFS 23-129 survey. It's lunchtime period and food waste survey for food service managers. This survey will capture the lunchtime eating periods and estimate food waste at various school sites. The goal of the survey is to understand how much time students have to eat their lunch. From the data we collect, we hope to draft proposals to the legislature to increase the time students have to eat. We received over 300 responses to the survey. Memo SFS 23-130, the sample procurement plan for the 23-24 school year, is now available. It can be found on the CMP website, or it's linked on this slide. It can be found under the procurement section in the school food service forms. As a reminder, this document is a sample and it is not intended to be all-inclusive. There are highlighted areas in the sample plan that need to be completed. SFAs can use this sample plan as a guide and revise if necessary so that it is reflective of your district's procurement procedures. Again, this document is only a sample. The SFA is ultimately responsible to ensure that the plan complies with all federal regulations, state procurement code and regulations, and local procurement policies. It is the SFA's responsibility to follow their written plan. And the sample plan for the 23-24 school year does include the changes to like your micro purchases, your small purchase, all those thresholds have been updated. So please make sure you update your plan. If you're going to continue to use yours and not the samples, make sure those are updated. Also make sure if you had a change in staffing that the people who are actually doing the procurement process or have their signatures. Memo SFS 23-131, school year 23-24 paid lunch equity tool is available. It's been posted to the CMP website, also linked on this slide. It's found on the website under the School Food Service General Forms. And as a reminder, Memo SFS 23-089 will provide SFAs additional guidance on how to use the tool. SFAs are exempt from completing the PLE2 if you are system-wide CEP or RCCI with no day students, or you have a positive or zero balance as of June 30th, 2022. Memo SFS 23-132, LDOE Division of Nutrition Support job announcement for the Education Consultant 2. We have 2 Education Consultant 2 positions open in the Baton Rouge office. The deadline to apply was July 22nd. Any important details about any current and future job announcements and applications are available at the State of Louisiana Civil Service website, and it's linked here on this slide. Memo SFS 23-133, the National School Lunch Program, School Breakfast Program Training Survey. Authorized representatives for each school district should have received the survey on July 18th. The survey is secure, anonymous, and optional, though we strongly encourage you to participate. With a high participation rate, we can confidently take actions that focus on making our training sessions more valuable for you and your staff. The deadline to participate was July 28th. Memo SFS 23-134, August trainings. Actually, the only training we had right now scheduled was today's monthly call. And as always, the trainings and recording and slides are posted within a week of the live presentations, and any additional trainings will be posted on Louisiana Fit Kids website. Memo SFS 23-135, the 26th release of the Child Nutrition Database. The purpose of this memo is to inform state and regional directors that the 26th release of the Child Nutrition Database, also called CN26, is now available to software companies that develop nutrient analysis and certification of compliance software designed for use in the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program. The CN database is the required nutrient database that must be included in the USDA-approved nutrient analysis software. Only USDA-approved nutrient analysis software may be used by state agencies to conduct nutrient analysis of school lunches and breakfasts for students in grades K through 12 as part of the administrative review. Memo SFS 23-136 is the Reduced Price Meals Law. On June 29, 2023, House Bill 1, containing the appropriation for House Bill 282, was signed into law by the governor. This applies to the 23-24 school year and each subsequent year. Students who qualify for reduced price meals by household, size, and income levels in the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program will receive breakfast and lunch meals free of charge. And here's what you need to know. You need to update the letter to households to note that the reduced price meals will be charged $0 for breakfast and lunch. Students must maintain reduced price status in your software system. So reach out to your software company if you have questions about the logistics of families not incurring unpaid meal debt. Do not collect a copay on reduced price eligible students. Submit claims like normal, utilizing the free, reduced, and paid categories. Appropriation Control will reimburse 30 cents per reduced price breakfast served and 40 cents per reduced price lunch served, and this will come in a separate reimbursement. So I'll check the chat box to see if we have any questions, and if not, you can email us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov, or you can give us a call at 225-342-9661. I had a couple of questions about the Medicaid reduced. If the student is in your system as reduced, they will be receiving the free benefits. Someone's asking me to go over the 6 and 7 hour after school snack program. There will be a memo release that has more details on it, but let me see if I can get back to it. So if you're operating an expanded learning day, which is more than 6 hours, the average school day is 6 hours, you must at least operate 7 hours in order to qualify for this. And depending on what route you're going to take, whether you're going to try to do after school snack through National School Lunch, or if you're going to try to do the after school snack or meals through CACFP, the two contact people will be Chandra Scott or Karen Scheck-Snyder. And again, the memo that's being released has more specific details that may be able to answer your question better. So again, if anyone has any questions, you can either put them in the chat box or you can email us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov, or you can give us a call at 225-342-9661. So I'm sure everyone is getting ready to start their back to school. I wish everyone has a very good school year and start working on those online applications because the deadline is at the end of the month. And if you have questions for that, reach out to us. I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat box. So with that, I will let you go for today. Thank you, everyone.